Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 of this AMD Premier League Season 2 matchup between Mith-Trust and FXOpen. FXOpen from Korea,
10
Mith-Trust from
seconds
Thailand.
remaining.
And after a very, very strong Game 1 by both teams, we'll have
5
to see
seconds
how
remaining.
Mith-Trust can recover if FXOpen will take a clean 2-0 series sweep over the Thai
Dire
sort
team
of
ban.
veterans. But both teams starting out with standard picks and
Radiant
bans.
team
Mith-Trust
ban.
actually banning out the Nyx Assassin with their first ban. FXOpen did open up the Nyx with their first choice, but this does leave a lot of powerful heroes in the pool. Now, the Eastern team not too keen on banning Whisper Treant compared to a lot of the Western teams, but I
10
think they are
seconds.
going to get used
10
to it
seconds
as
remaining.
those heroes are really, really powerful. Instead, both
5
teams seem like
seconds
they like to
remaining.
place a high priority on supports, and we're going to have to see if that will be a similar capacity in this
Reserve
game.
time.
Visage was banned in the last game, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll have to see if he is let through this game because he can be rest assured Batrider will definitely be the ban for FXOpen. So we're going to have to see how Mith-Trust decide to respond with their own second ban before FXOpen can ban out the Batrider. Now, this game will be uploaded on my birthday. I'll probably just make it public from my friend's apartment in NYC.
Dire team ban.
And hopefully, you'll have a good 20th of July celebrating my birthday in style. But yeah, I made a recent Facebook/channel post asking you for some feedback on what you want to see in this channel in the future since my
Radiant
videos have been
team
getting a lot
picked.
less views recently. So yeah, just let me know
Dire
what you want to
team
see
picked.
and I'll try to implement them as soon as I get back from NYC. If
Dire
it
team picked.
involves a bit more of a hard-working effort, then I might want a little bit of help from whoever wants to
Radiant
contribute, but
team
if
picked.
it's just more of the same, then I can be more than happy to do that solo. But Mith-Trust's gonna get the Barrett of
Radiant
the first
team
choice, and
ban.
FXOpen actually gonna respond with Weaver as well as Venge. Mith-Trust also pick up the Visage, so right now Mith-Trust do have some very, very powerful heroes. As you all know, Visage is definitely the king of challenge supports. He does so much damage with Soul Assumption, and Barrett are
10
probably the best
seconds
initiator in the
remaining.
game, probably the most versatile hero in the game because he can just be laned
5
anywhere,
seconds
and he can still have
remaining.
an impact if he does not get out to the best start. But of course, Barretters more often than not do get out to
Reserve
a good
time.
start if they manage to get some free farm. So Mith-Trust, they weren't people who jumped on the Batrider bandwagon. They were the ones who started the Batrider bandwagon before Batrider got super buffed in 6.7.5 last year. So I respect Mith-Trust a lot. You know, I'm a Batrider hipster. I was playing Batrider before he got super powerful. Even though he was always powerful in Dota 1, then he just sort of fell off the face of the earth in Dota 2 due to some unforeseen issues transition-wise. So
Dire
Mith-Trust,
team
they're banning out the
ban.
Queen of Pain, so this indicates that they want to probably put Barrett in mid and have him dominate the mid lane, or they want some other mid laner who just does not do well against Queen of Pain, so perhaps some sort of melee hero. I'm not too sure. Again, this ban doesn't reveal too much other than
10
Mith-Trust do
seconds
not want to give up the
remaining.
Quap, so that they lose the mid lane pretty much regardless of who they put in there. Meanwhile, FXOpen getting rid of the Silencer, so Silencer does do
Dire
pretty well against
team
Weaver, but
ban.
this could perhaps reveal FXOpen's desire to maybe get some sort of teamfight combination presence, as Vengeful Spirit is pretty strong against Batrider. That's why FXOpen did pick him up, because of course you can swap and that instantly breaks the lasso,
10
but
seconds
that
remaining.
might not always be the most reliable option, especially once Batrider picks up the 4 stab.
5 seconds
So we're gonna have
remaining.
to see what FXOpen decide to choose with their third
Dire
choice. They're gonna
team
get
picked.
themselves a they're gonna get rid of the Faceless Void, so may they have some sort of knowledge of Mith-Trust, but I've never really seen Mith-Trust pick up the Void. They are more often than not likely to pick up the Morphling for Lakels, even before Morphling got super popular. Mith-Trust, on the other hand, banning out the Lifestealer, so they're gonna get rid of that annoying trial and carry in the form of the Lifestealer, and Visage does not do very well, so this could perhaps set up a Mith-Trust aggressive trial
10
lane
seconds
if Bauer
remaining.
wants to solo a safer lane.
5 seconds remaining.
So right now, a lot of roles being left open. Mith-Trust have
Reserve
his support.
time.
They have their offlaner or their mid. As FXOpen gonna secure themselves a
Radiant
Darkseer.
team
This will most
picked.
likely be an offlane Darkseer. I can't imagine FXOpen will go on the offensive with Vengeful Spirit as well as Weaver, because Vengeful Spirit, she's pretty strong, but she doesn't really have the range to harass. And yeah, she can cast 2 magic missiles at level 1, but outside of that, what can she really honestly contribute to a tri lane? Not too much, so she's going to be looking to do some creep pulls, so this will be most likely an offlane Darkseer. Weaver probably
10
going to be
seconds
either
remaining.
mid or in the safe lane, I've got to imagine. And you know, we'll have to see what
5
Mith-Trust
seconds
decide to choose
remaining.
with their third hero. They're going to get themselves Rubik. So they're going to fortify their
Dire
support
team
backline.
pick.
And as you all know, Rubik does perform very well against Lexa Weaver because it can pretty much always steal Shikuchi. It's very difficult for Weaver to hide Shikuchi with Swarm since it has such a long cooldown or time lapse because, I mean, the same thing. And if Rubik can steal a spell like Vacuum or Wall, well, that's just icing on top of the cake. The birthday cake, so to speak. But yeah, Mith-Trust picking up a very, very
10
flexible
seconds
lineup.
remaining.
And FXOpen gonna go with the Crystal main.
Radiant team pick.
Interesting choice, so they're gonna get themselves a very strong offensive support, maybe trying to mitigate some of the Visage's presence in their early game, but I don't know. She can potentially roam early on and perhaps shut down the mid laner Mith-Trust, but I feel like FXOpen, as this game goes on, if Weaver does not have a ridiculously good time free farming, they might have some trouble dealing some damage. And there we go, Lakel's trademark carry. They're going to pick up the Morphling for Mith-Trust. And now Mith-Trust, all they need is either their mid or their off lane, considering which lane Barrett is going in. I've got to imagine that Barrett will probably take his talents to the jungle, and they'll just sacrifice the safe lane, because honestly,
10
when you have a
seconds
free farming
remaining.
Morphling against like a free farming Weaver, I'd pretty much take Morphling any day of the week, even though
5
Darkseer Wall
seconds
does do
remaining.
very well against Morphling because those Lucians do have a lot of stats. Still, Morphling a very
Reserve
strong
time.
split pusher. If he picks up the Lincolns, there's really nothing on FXOpen that can lock him down. Actually, now that I think about it, there is literally nothing once Morphling picks up the Lincoln Sphere. And he might not even need a Lincoln Sphere because Magic Missile won't do too much, Frostbite won't do too much. I mean, there's only 2 single target abilities, and more often than not, Morphling doesn't pick up the Lincoln Sphere just for the spell block, but also for that mana regeneration so you can just split push a lot more effectively with that waveform. So even if there aren't too many single target disables, Morphling could potentially still get the Lincoln Sphere just to help him split push. But right now, Mith-Trust, I'm really favoring their lineup quite a bit. FXOpen, if they don't have a good time in the early to mid stages of the game, then they're going to have a lot of trouble transitioning into the later portion of the game against the likes of Batrider, Visage, and Morphling, who scale ridiculously well into that aspect. So FXOpen, they might put the Weaver mid and they might pick up a harder carry to deal with the Morphling, but they are lacking quite a bit in terms of disables. They only have Magic Missile, Swap, and Frostbite to hold people in place. And usually with the Darkseer, you want to have some sort of option that you can really utilize this teamfight aspect, because what are you going to vacuum people into? A freezing field? I mean, you can vacuum them to the wall, but there's really nothing that stops Mith-Trust from just running the heck out of there. So FXOpen getting rid of the Lone Druid. Really interesting choice. I don't think Mith-Trust would have picked up the Lone Druid. And FXOpen gonna get themselves Storm Spirit, so they're gonna probably have a safe lane farming Weaver and Storm Spirit middle. And we'll have to see what Mith-Trust decide to respond with. I think Barrett does do very well against like the Storm Spirit in the middle lane, but I think Barrett will probably go to the off lane, so we're gonna have to see how Mith-Trust decide to lane it with their current heroes. And we're gonna have to see what type of hero this last hero will be.
10 seconds remaining.
So Mith-Trust gonna get themselves a puck, so it will be a Batrider offlane going to transition into the jungle. It will be a puck mid lane. Puck does do pretty well against like Storm Spirit, because Storm Spirit probably should never be able to kill the puck, but once Storm Spirit hits level 6, Puck shouldn't really be able to kill the Storm Spirit either, because you can just ball out of that Dream Coil. But yeah, Storm Spirit's gonna have to get off to a really strong start, but at least now they have a natural Orchid carrier. And I think in this game it will be prudent for Storm Spirit to actually rush the Orchid, because even though Morphling does have the morph and he can withstand a lot of harassment if he manages to pop the morph before Orchid is applied, you still want to have some sort of disable against the likes of Puck, Batrider, and those other options. So I like the Storm Spirit a bit, and I guess we'll have to see how they utilize it. It will be Doctor, who played a pretty solid Shadow Fiend in the last game playing on Storm Spirit, but interesting to play in teams. On the side of FXOpen from Korea, we're going to have Febby playing the Weaver, March is playing the Darkseer, Anarchy is playing the Crystal Main, Sagon is playing the Vengeful Spirit, and Doctor is playing the Storm Spirit. Meanwhile, on the side of Mith-Trust, we're going to have TNK playing the Batrider, R5 is playing the Rubik, Abba is playing the Puck, SD is playing the Visage, and Lakels is playing his trademark Morphling.
30
So
seconds
FXOpen actually going to
left.
go on the offensive. Crystal Main, a very strong offensive trial hero, and they're actually going to put Darkseer in the trial lane as well. Darkseer in the trial lane is reasonably powerful, but the thing about Darkseer is that he's very experience dependent, and I mean, he really doesn't contribute too much to a team fight until he hits that level 10 or level 11, where he gets that first point to wall. So his experience growth will definitely be hampered, but I guess they want to just dominate Lakel's as soon as possible. But the Rain did place a very, very aggressive observer ward, and we'll have to see if they spot out the movement, and maybe if they do spot out, they'll switch up their own tri lane and go to the top lane instead. And Barretta gonna rotate himself in. I don't think that Observer would actually spot out the Darkseer at all. It definitely didn't spot out these two supports, so right now, seems like Mith-Trust will continue with their defensive challenge, and Barretta gonna help creep block. He's gonna start out in the jungle, trying to get the stacks online. But Barretta, once he realizes it is just a Soul Weaver, he probably will make his way back towards the top lane to get a bit more experience and try to limit Weaver's farming potential. So Lakel's picked up Morph at level 1, doesn't have access into the waveform. Morph will help you to last it a bit better because you can see Lakel's already morphed quite a bit into stats, but you can see this is going to come back to bite Lakel's in the ass a bit because he's taking a lot of harass and can't waveform to safety. And quickly Morph is drained through his mana, and a couple more right clicks will spend the end of Lakel's, but no, March just took a bit too much harass, and Magic Missile cooling down very rapidly as he will have it up in about 6 mana. Lakel's complete out of mana, can't morph any more HP, but here comes the block by SD. Can Morphling actually escape? Rubik is going to come in finally, will drop the Telekinesis. Anarchy not able to get in range for the Crystal Nova. He's still pursuing the issue, but he is going to back off at precisely the instant that his Frost Nova or Crystal Nova came online. I guess he wouldn't have been in range, but Crystal Main, one of the few heroes that can actually keep up with Morphling. Rubik gonna get the Telekinesis off. Visage has yet to cast Soul Assumption. Will pop out, and Vigil Spirit does pick up the first blood. And this trial already not going very well for FXOpen. They really need to dominate the trial, and otherwise Darkseer is just gonna have a really, really difficult time getting himself back into the game. But the survivability of Morphling and his choice to pick up Wave or Morph at level 1 actually ended up helping him. I think he might have been able to escape with Waveform as well, but then he would have had to use another Waveform to get himself back into the lane if he did actually Waveform into the trees. Still, if this trend does continue, it will be difficult for Morphling actually to get some semblance of farm. And meanwhile, Weaver is just continuing to have free farm up on the top lane, last hitting and denying every single creep he can get his hands on. And TNK not actually transitioning his way towards that top lane. Instead, looks like he's stacking the jungle camp, wants a bit of safety, and probably wants to get a faster dagger because laning Batrider, he might get a bit more experience, but he usually likes to get for items like, I guess, a magic wand, maybe a bottle if he's in the off lane or the mid lane. But Jungle Barrier just really needs a couple clarities, a couple sets of tangos, and then just rushes that straight dagger. And if Barrier picks up a fast dagger, this trial will turn around very, very poorly for the likes of FXOpen. On the mid lane, Puck versus Storm Spirit, this should be an even matchup, but it seems like Storm Spirit coming out slightly ahead. It looks like he was pulled a bit of extra regeneration. Puck was pulled a bit of extra regeneration as well, but Static Remnant having such a low mana cost and being able to be spammed seems like Storm Spirit is getting this upper hand by the slightest of margins. Meanwhile, looks like this ward was not able to block off this creep camp, so this double pull will go down, and you can see the perils of running aggressive challenge supports will be severely underleveled because they won't be able to access the pulls. But Barrett might reveal himself at the worst possible instant. No, he got 6 stacks of napalm and will actually clear out that creep camp, but they're going to cheat on Puck. Puck will most certainly die. The chain stuns were not perfectly timed, and Puck was actually able to cast the orb, but just too much damage for that fairy dragon to withstand, and Puck ended up perishing. A good rotation by the supports of FXOpen, but it does not address the problem of where is their experience actually going to come from. Will they be forced to transition one of their supports to the top lane and do some creep pulls, or will they just continue their efforts on the bottom lane and try to just overpower the Morphling and really keep his farm down? So, usually when you have a free farm carry, you just want to farm as much as possible, go for a greedy build, but it might be more prudent for Febby in this game to just play a bit more aggressive with the Weaver. Because, again, there's really not too much damage with their supports being so underleveled. And Barrett picked up the Tranquil Boots, so he is going to have 1k gold finished up, and now probably going to rush that dagger. He has clarity. I can't imagine he'll pick up a bottle or anything like that, or even pick up a magic wand. Puck, after that death, pretty far behind in terms of experience, and you can see the Storm Spirit has been able to surpass the CS chart by quite a bit. Meanwhile, Rubik try and get in position for telekinesis, but unfortunately just a little bit unable to do just that, as Vengeful Spirit has invisibility rune, trying to look for a gank setup on the puck. Probably wait for Storm Spirit to hit level 6, and Storm Spirit very close to hitting that magical mark, as he will be able to pick it up after one more static remnant. Actually, will initiate right now with the pull. Only level 2 pull, instead went for more of a lane harassment build, and Sagan actually going to take the fall as a poor communication effort. This is Southeast Asia to Korea, so I can't imagine the server lag is too good for either team. But Venture Spirit definitely paid the price for that poor rotation. I think they should have waited for Storm Spirit to hit level 6, but he just walked forward. An interesting build Storm Spirit went for. He went for 2 points to Overload. Usually, even in a laning Storm Spirit, you'd like to get 3 points in the Vortex, just so you can get that extra disable and pull people into Static Remnant, which is of course the reason why you get 3 points into Electric Vortex. But Storm Spirit looks like he's just doing a lot of Remnant harass and using that extra bit of spam ability from Remnant to help pump up his overload charges. Meanwhile, Barada, I guess he just said, screw this, I'm gonna go back to the jungle. We were having a very good time, and he went for a very greedy build, went for the minus. So, I guess with these failed ganks, going for a late game Weaver is the correct choice by FXOpen. If they may succeed on a ganks, Weaver could have potentially gone for a more mid-game build, and then tried to sort of overpower Morphing before he got too powerful. But with these failed gank attempts by FXOpen, I think it is the wiser option for FX Febby to actually go for a late game oriented build. And this minus is definitely going to help boost his experience growth and boost his farm account. And you can see Febby pretty much lasting and denying every single possible creep he can get his grubby little appendages on. So, Batrider, 660 gold in the bank, just doing stacks and pulls. Picked up the Tranquil Boots. Usually Jungle Batrider doesn't bother to get Tranquil Boots, so his farm is a bit slowed, but a lot of camps being stacked. I don't know if this will be given to the Morphling so he can just waveform it after a couple of times, or it will be given to the Batrider to help accelerate his Blink Dagger farm. As TNK, he might be rotating his way to try to kill off the stack, and that should be enough to finish up his dagger, considering he has 3 points in Napalm, 2 points in Firefly. And these sticky napalm stacks will help amplify that creep damage by an immense amount, and you can see Barrier looking to clear it up ASAP, and he should be able to do it and get almost 1500 gold. But here comes the initiation by Storm Spirit. They're going to catch out R5, and R5 never stood a chance in hell against the likes of Storm Spirit and Crystal Main. You know, Barrier farming up continuously will get very close to his dagger, but a good rotation by FXOpen, and more importantly, Storm Spirit starting to get a bit of momentum. And we'll have to see what Storm Spirit actually decides to go for. Will he go for Treads and Orchid? Will he go for the Bloodstone Rush? And that's very rare these days, or will he go for the more safe option like a BKB? You know, Puck picked up the Null Tally, probably going to get himself some Treads and then go for the dagger. I can't imagine he'll rush that straight up dagger unless he wants to apply a lot of pressure to that Weaver very early on. But I think in a late game matchup, Mith-Trust are very comfortable duking out Lakel's versus the Weaver, because Morphling does have the advantage in that stage of the game. You know, Lakel's gonna get the Wraithband and Magic Wand delivered to him. Picked up Ring of Health. Could just be a casual Ring of Health, but most likely will be for a Linked Sphere. Again, I mean, there is one more additional signature to disable in the form of Electric Vortex than previously analyzed, but it's more for the mana regeneration, so Morphling can just split push as best he possibly can, as Storm Spirit just able to ball out on out of there very easily. So Storm has his Treads, Febby just continuing his rollicking farm. This is just almost... well, he's gotten pretty much every last hit that he needed to get for the most part. You know, Lakel's starting to climb back in contention, as both team supports are roaming around quite heavily, but you can see the dire supports not having access into the creep hole, suffering quite a bit. And you can see Sagan forced to rotate to the top lane, try to get whatever experience he possibly can get with those creep holes. Will finally pick up the boost of speed, but Crystal Main, it's going to be a different story for her to actually get experience, and she will just be food later on for the likes of Barrier, Puck, and Morphling. So Smoke Seat gonna be used. Looks like the Die Ward did just time out. They're gonna initiate on Anarchy, Anarchy! Oh, poor Crystal Main. She just melted into a pile of ashes, or into a puddle of water, as Storm Spirit gonna ball in, trying to avenge his former friend, as now R5 gonna take a lot of damage. That Overlord charge coming into effect, but Puck is here. Bebby actually teleport himself towards the bot lane, try to perhaps pick up a kill. Puck now gonna be up shit creek without a paddle, as we were just going to work. Orb still not online, gonna silence Bebby, but still looks like Darkseer will pick up the last hit without the Lion Shell. Lakel's gonna go in, trying to kill off the Darkseer, but Darkseer juking as best he can. This might be a huge mistake for Lakel's, because Iron Shell does so much damage, and we were just gonna pursue the issue. Lakel's on the retreat. Visage gonna respawn, dropping one more soul subject. Will kill off the Darkseer, but here comes Barrett with the Blink Dagger. Just arrived a little bit too late to the party, but still better late than never, as we were gonna be able to escape with just a sliver of HP. Barrett trying to get on out of there. He might end up perishing. The Storm ticking in all the while. Febby gonna pursue the issue, but now is close to out of mana. R5 is here, but they kill off the Barrier. They're gonna sacrifice Weaver in exchange. So it looks like it's gonna be a 4-for-3 engagement thus far, but here comes Doctor. He's gonna respawn. Puck drops the Dream Coil, gonna catch Anarchy. Morphling, not enough mana, but they are gonna kill off the Crystal Main. Doctor, he has so much gold from this engagement. It's definitely shaping out very well for FXOpen, as March actually picked up a point while at level 6. An interesting build, but perhaps was sensing some more teamfight engagements, but that definitely benefited FXOpen in the long run. The only unfortunate thing for FXOpen is that Weaver died and that Morphling did not die, but Storm Spirit picked up so many kills and is going to be very well on his way to finishing his first Oblivion staff. Actually has it finished already. So Storm Spirit's starting to get his momentum rolling, and once Storm Spirit starts rolling, it's just going to be very, very annoying to deal with for these low-leveled supports. Although Visage, now level 6, and Barrett does have his dagger, so Mith-Trust starting to get their items online. As Storm Spirit actually able to pick up a solo kill against Puck. Let's see how that happened. So Puck used the orb to farm, and he did not see the Crystal Maiden. So Storm Spirit was able to get one of the easiest kills of his life. And now I've got to imagine March to just rotate to the jungle. He really needs some farm, and he just simply cannot find it on the bottom lane. He needs experience as well. I'm not too sure March is still continuing his endeavors on this bottom lane. I mean, the familiars are online, so I think March should just back up, try to get some experience, and I think he is going to do just that. Although he might refill his mana before that actually does happen. You know, the supports on the side of FXOpen starting to get a bit of experience rolling, but they are still a bit behind in terms of that experience meter. But that we were picking up such an early minus level 11, definitely helping to even out the experience graph to a certain extent, as FXOpen going to pop a Smoker Seat, trying to perhaps pick off somebody who defends his top tier 1 tower. But seems like Mith-Trust not too keen on defending it just yet, although they are making the rotation. Barrett does have the dagger. Puck, do you have treads, my friend? You do. So Puck gonna work his way towards his own dagger. But here comes the Barrett initiation. We'll be able to last to the Venture Spirit, so we'll delay that swap. Swap wasn't even up because Bench was not even level 6. No, she was. They're gonna lock Storm Spirit in place for such a long time, but just not enough chain stun apparently, as Rubik gonna ball forward trying to pursue the issue. And man, if Storm Spirit died there, he would have given up 600 or 700 gold from that huge streak he had on his head. And this is one of the perils of playing such a snowball heavy hero like Storm Spirit, like Queen of Pain, because if you die, you're just gonna give up so much gold to the enemy team.
Let the fun begin.
But Storm Spirit was able to escape to safety, gonna be working on his next Oblivion staff, and an early Orchid against like the Lakel's, but more importantly against likes of Puck, will just make it so easy for Storm Spirit to control the game, as Lakel's starting to make his way towards the Lincoln Sphere, and March, level 7, has Bottle as well as almost the completed mech. So March is starting to get his own farm rolling. You know, Weaver looks like he's a bit unsure on what he actually wants to make, as here comes initiation on Lakel's. They're going to drop the wall, they're going to drop the Frostbite as well. Lakel's, he's just going to look to teleport on either. Smart move by Lakel's, and is going to morph back a lot of his stats back to agility. So Lakel's just escaping, not forced to try to just waveform on either. And you can see the lack of disables on the side of FXOpen is just a bit bad for them to say the least. Lakel's gonna find himself frostbitten. Anarchy will be the first one to die. Lakel's gonna start morphing up, gonna pop the adaptive strike as here comes the dust. They will kill off the Weaver, so Febby paying for his rotation quite a bit. Lakel's will be stunned up, but the coil catching 2 heroes. They're gonna kill the Darkseer. Lakel's does secure the kill on Venture Spirit. Lasso gonna be applied to Doctor. If Doctor dies here, is gonna give up such a huge streak, but he is gonna escape once again to safety. But Mith-Trust handily won that engagement.
Under attack.
They just overpowered FXOpen. FXOpen didn't have their most powerful hero in that engagement. Mith-Trust had all 5 of their heroes, and they just got a really nice coil, and that allowed them to seal the deal in that team fight. And this is going to allow Lakel's to finish his perseverance, and he's only a short ways away from finishing his Lincoln Sphere, as March going to take a lot of damage. March might end up falling as he waited to use Surge as long as possible, fearing the telekinesis, but here comes rotation by FXOpen. They're going to get the swap off onto the barrier, but no damage to limit Barrier's blink potential, as Barrier will be able to escape. One orb is going to be used to cover Puck's retreat, but now Puck is completely out of mana. Febby looking to go on the offensive as Storms are going to ball on ahead. They're trying to kill off the Puck instead. They're going to focus their attentions on the Visage. SC trying to scurry on out of there as Doctor is still going ham, but he is taking a lot of damage. Morphling was able to kill off the Venture Spirit in the ensuing chaos. March taking a lot of damage. Now Frostbite going to hold Lakel's in place as the wall going to create a Morphling illusion, but now Lakel's strong on all fronts, might end up dying as he is going to wait for him out to safety. They're not going to pursue the issue. They're going to grab the Batter. Batter will kill off the Crystal Maiden with one last flame break, but now Storm Spirit looking to engage as a lot of damage is being thrown Batter and Morphling's way. Lakel's has to really get on out of there as he has not picked up the Lincoln Sphere, and he might lose a lot of gold if he were to die. Rubik gonna steal Ball Lightning, perhaps looking to pursue the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit out of mana. He is gonna die as he's gonna give up such a huge streak, and Lakel's picks up the last hit. Oh my god. So much havoc breaking out, but in the end, you've got to favor Mith-Trust, because that streak being picked up by the Morphling, the worst possible situation for the side of FXOpen. And Morphling is going to have his finished Lincoln Sphere now, and now he's going to be next to impossible for the side of FXOpen to gank. Meanwhile, Febby died, Storm Spirit died. Did Febby actually buy back? He did not, but now Febby going to get initiated on by the Puck, and Puck will be able to pick up a very easy kill. And Febby, his fast minus not paying off, and he just lost so much gold. He's died 4 times despite his amazing CS at the beginning of the game, but these rotations just simply have not been working out. So right now, FXOpen definitely in a bit of trouble, but they do have the means to come back. I really think they need to get some more levels on March's. Barrett are going to initiate. He will spot the Crystal Maiden, but an immediate swap will prevent Crystal Maiden's untimely demise. TNK dealing hell in place, Freezing Field being applied. Storm Spirit will pick up the kill on Barrett, and now they're going to pursue the issue on the Visage. Going to vacuum him back in for a bit of extra damage, and they're going to pick up 2 successful kills. Meanwhile, the remnants of Mith-Trust will look to retreat on out of there. Bit surprised to see Lakel's not yet finishing his Lincolns, as he definitely has the goal to finish just that. But meanwhile, FXOpen going to be looking to push the issue on the middle lane. March has finished his mech, decided to skip the boots, instead looking to secure a faster mech. And you can see sort of the desperation that FXOpen are playing with. They know in the late stages of the game with Weaver dying so many times, it is not going to look pretty for them. So they're just looking to push the issue as fast as they possibly can at this stage in the game where they are at their most powerful. And Storm Spirit will have his Orchid up in about 400 gold. Meanwhile, Febby gonna pick up the ultimate orb. Looks like he's gonna go for a Lincoln Sphere himself. Meanwhile, Darkseer still roaming around, but he just used Surge, and now he might be caught out of position. The body block gonna be used as Visage trying to get in position to use the Grave Chill, but just a little bit too short. Febby will actually pursue the issue as Sagan gonna apply the stun to Lakel's Lincoln Sphere, just will dispel it very easily as Febby taking a lot of damage. Barrett perhaps looking for an opening, doesn't yet have the lasso online as Puck was able to kill the Venture Spirit. Here comes Rubik balling forward furiously, will get the kill on March as actually Lakel's did pick up the last hit. Anarchy gonna die to one last splash of water from his adaptive strike, and Mith-Trust started to roll on all cylinders, and this is the point where FXOpen have got to be feeling very uncomfortable. This is the point of the game where they should be dominating, especially with Storm Spirit getting out to such a fantastic start. And March, I don't know why, he's just not jungling. He should just look to pick up level 11, get more points in a vacuum, because right now he's just not contributing too much of anything aside from mech buff, as Febby just simply cannot find too much room to farm up. is getting close to his Lincoln Sphere. That mine is definitely playing a factor, but it's still looking a bit desperate for the side of the Koreans. But Storm Spirit now has the Orchid, and he might look for some solo pickoffs against like a Puck, but Puck now has that crucial dagger, and now his initiation will be a lot more easy. Barretter getting very close to his Force Staff, and if you look at the goal graph, you can see it's slightly favoring the Radiant, but the Dire are definitely in a bit more dire straits. Ha ha ha. I'm sorry, that was terrible. Experience graph definitely favoring Radiant by a significant amount, and I think the Midas and the Storm Spirit picking up such a huge bounty is sort of inflating that number by quite a bit, because you can see the three of the lowest 4 levels are on the side of the Dire, and Darkseer needs experience, and Vengeful Spirit, if she wants to be a factor in late game, needs experience herself. So I think it's just time for the Dire to chill, look for some farm. I know it's difficult farming against like some Morphling, but right now it's just difficult to look for teamfight engagements, and you can be rest assured Mith-Trust will not be caught with their pants down against the likes of Storm Spirit with the Orchid, especially since the Ward has spotted out that Orchid choice by the Storm Spirit. But as that Blink Dagger, Puck usually likes to go for either gem or just go straight for the Hex these days. Sometimes in the previous instances, Puck's often went for Force Staff, but I don't really think he needs Force Staff in this game. I mean, what does he really have to be afraid of? Orchid? I guess that's pretty much it. But I think Hex will also accomplish that same goal and will scale a lot better until late today's game. Meanwhile, Lakellis looks like he is going to go for the shotgun build, and actually Morphling, surprisingly enough, despite being pressured, has just relied on his morph to get him out of trouble, and is actually 6-0 and 6. Such a strong score for Lakellis, and Morphling, a decent early game carry, not the best mid game carry, but a very, very nice early game carry since he's very survivable, and actually does quite a bit of damage with that waveform. Meanwhile, Febby continue to farm from the top lane. Mith-Trust looking to pursue the issue. They know they are at a very strong situation, as here comes the ball lightning, as Barrett gonna come in, gonna grab Doctor, as a very, very poor initiation by FXOpen might cost them their lives. Dreamcoat will hold Vengeful Spirit in place, and Febby gonna teleport himself in. Anarchy dropping a nice freezing fill, but just simply not enough. Morphling gonna get that tactical pause online. But right now, you can be rest assured FXOpen are in full retreat. And March will be able to escape to safety. Surge will be lasting for a bit longer. Meanwhile, Weaver should be able to escape. There aren't any more ultimates to hold the likes of FXOpen in place. But you can see this game is just simply not going the way FXOpen were expecting. They're just playing too aggressively. That initiation, Storm Spirit dove in against a Morphling surrounded by a Puck and a Barrier. What did you think would happen? Would you just be able to rely on the Orchid Silence to snag one of them? Okay, you can snag one, but there's still a Lasso or a Waning Rift, and you can't silence everybody. And even then, there's a Telekinesis, so I don't honestly know what Doctor is thinking. I mean, he's been playing pretty well, but that was definitely a costly initiation. Storm Spirit is now out of the picture for the next 45 seconds. And meanwhile, Lakel is still getting very farmed up. We'll go for that E-Blade. And this shotgun build against the very squishy nature of Crystal Main as well as Vengeful Spirit will be very powerful. So right now, Mith-Trust definitely firing on all cylinders, really thriving in these chaotic teamfights. And in chaotic teamfights, Barrett definitely is the king of the castle. Well, Morphling is too, since he's so difficult to bring down, and he oftentimes draws a little bit too much focus. But now, Morphling will just look to drive March on out of there, and Febby actually going to turn around, try and apply a bit of damage, but most likely won't be able to kill Lakel's. He's going to try it, but Ghost Surfer will be part of Lakel's. And actually, what spell was stolen? It was Wall. A good spell for Rubik to steal, to put it bluntly, as now FXOpen might be in for a bit of a hard team fight if they look to re-engage. Storm Spirit's still dead. Now I've got to imagine Mith-Trust is just going to look to take this shower, then back the heck on out of there. Because Storm Spirit is going to be respawning. Will Dire fortify their towers and wait for Storm Spirit to come back alive? No, Weaver actually gets a clutch 9. Time lapse is back to safety, so it's a good play by Febby. But they're going to need to do a lot more good, or a lot more of those good plays, as Morphling going to be able to replicate out to safety. They might lose the barrier in exchange, but he's going to blink out himself, and he will be able to force staff himself away to safety. Visage point booster, and this is a good response to the Scourge. They're gonna go in for Rosh. Unfortunately, I don't know if they were smoked up, but they were definitely revealed. This ward it did spot the moons of the Dire, and we're gonna have to see if Mith-Trust are looking to engage. So the Dire could perhaps be initiated on. There aren't any ultimates, but Stormsphere are going to ball forward. We'll catch R5 out of position. Visage is going to be caught as well. Lakel's going to take a lot of damage. We'll be forced to retreat, and the Radiant not being in position to fully engage with their whole arsenal. Gonna cost them perhaps Lakel's, as Lakel's in a lot of trouble trying to Ghost Scepter his way to safety. Can he actually escape? Is going to start morphing his attributes into strength. We'll be able to teleport out to safety, as Barrett now in a bit of trouble himself. Gonna force staff away from the opposing team. Flamebreak will be used to cover his retreat, and he will be able to blink on out of there, but Abba, can he be so lucky to escape himself? Yes, he will. So some sloppy team fights by both teams. You see the problem of not engaging with your full roster. When you decide to commit to engagement, definitely leaves you at a severe disadvantage. And Mith-Trust, will they contest this? They do still have the Quo, they still have the Lasso, but this Roshan dying very, very quickly. Weaver has the Linkets here finished, and Storm Spirit picks up the Aegis, and this might give FXOpen enough to hopefully bridge the gap in the mid game. But Ba with a beautiful blink in Lasso might be applied to the Storm Spirit. He might lose Aegis as quickly as he came by it, as he will be able to snag Doctor. Doctor now out of mana is going to lose his Aegis. Mechanism will preserve his life for the moment, as March going to be held in place with the Dream Cold. March going to drop one more vacuum before he dies. Doctor gonna try to get on out of Venture Spirit at very low HP, drops a Magic Missile, but Morphe just shrugs off with that Lincoln Sphere, and now Doctor has to get right out of there as he is very low in terms of mana. So that disastrous turnaround for FXOpen is leaving them hurting, as Lakel's that strength morph might have been just a bit too late. Gonna pop the Ghost Scepter, and we'll be able to wait for him out of there, as he still has 5 wand charges and has a lot of mana to play around with for his attribute switch. Weaver is scuttling on out of there. This is such a chaotic game, as meanwhile Storm Spirit gonna die. He just lost his Aegis as well as his life in the span of a minute. So FXOpen, this chaotic in style that they seem to favor, just simply not working out against Batter and Puck. And Visage, these familiars definitely been doing a lot of work in these engagements. Kellis has still yet to take a fall in this game, as he is going to finish that shotgun, and this Crystal Main will just be easy pickings for the likes of Morphling. Has not even had an opportunity to get herself above 800 HP. Vengeful Spirit, even with her strength growth increase, still pretty squishy as well. 1000 HP. That's not too much. Febby gonna just backdoor the tier 1 tower. Good option, as Febby has got to be the sole hope for FXOpen at this point, since Storm Spirit is now starting to lose a lot of steam. I mean, it's not really the deaths that matter, it's just the time that Storm Spirit is not alive. Because when Storm Spirit is alive, he does force you to group up, and you can sort of out-farm, out-experience the enemy team, since Storm Spirit does thrive on picking off solo heroes. But when Storm Spirit is dead, you can just freely farm wherever you want, especially against FXOpen's life. I mean, where will they initiate from, if not the Storm Spirit? And Mith-Trust definitely gonna climb out very far ahead after these past couple engagements. Lakel's finished the E-Blade. Visage working his way towards the Aga, picked up the point booster. Looks like he's still warding it up. TNK finished the 4 staff a while ago, has secured the gem as well. Puck making his way towards the Hex, and Rubik just warding up Meow inside of FXOpen. Weaver looks like he's going to go for a Desolator build, has Lincoln Sphere. I can't imagine he's going to go for BKB when he already has the Lincoln Sphere. Meow Darkseer still struggling, is now level 11 but only 1 point to wall. Does have that max vacuum at the very least. Meanwhile, FXOpen going to do a very, very risky smoke gank, but maybe they feel like they don't have too many more options. They don't really want to give up too much time, as Mith-Trust going to pause the game. And right now, Mith-Trust should see on the minimap there is nobody revealing, but of course, since the team who does pause can't move around their camera, I don't know if they necessarily spotted out FXOpen's movement. So Anarchy, Bracer, Doctor working his way towards that BKB, and that Puck Silence, along with the familiar stunts, really just proving to be a huge nuisance. Sagan, Strength Treads, not too sure what it'll go for. I've got to guess maybe some drums or a medallion, something of that nature could potentially be very useful. But this Linkens here just allows Morphling to play so aggressively, and Lakel's not even bothering to morph the majority of his attributes into agility. He knows that he does have enough damage to probably one-shot the Crystal Maiden if he really needs it, and instead just going to use that E-Blade to push down towers. And right now, we'll have to see if March can get in position to initiate, but Barretter, even though he does have shorter vision, if March takes the wrong angle, Barretter could potentially scout him out overhead, flying high, and without that Dark Seer, a huge portion of the FXOpen T5 will be lost. Barretter, does he have vision? Ooh. Yeah, Rubik has vision, but here comes initiation. Vacuum catches 2 heroes. A beautiful initiation by March, as they will get 2 kills at the onset of the battle. Dream Coil will be dropped. Rubik and Visage were the only ones who perishes. Now Barretter gonna be the next one, perhaps to be hunted down. Stormsphere will pick up the last hit. Meanwhile, Morphling was able to shotgun the Crystal Maiden to oblivion. As a response, Lakel's should be able to escape, has enough mana to waveform to safety. And Puck just still continue to do a lot of damage in the backlines. March is trying to run as best he possibly can, and actually Morphling going to turn around trying to apply as much damage as possible to Vengeful Spirit. Puck still in the backlines. A good engagement by FXOpen, but they still lost the tower, and they did lose Storm Spirit once again. Meanwhile, I mean, Barrett pretty much has all the items he needs. The unfortunate thing for Mith-Trust is that they might have lost the gem. No, Puck did pick it up, as Morphling just going to shotgun down. I just want to see Lakel's balls on this one. So, oh, the replicate. Oh, the replicate. They tried to kill it off, and the shotgun just more than enough to clean up that remnants of that Vengeful Spirit. She is going to be feeling some deep vengeance after that. March going to be the next one to perish. Morphling just going in on these FXOpen heroes. Febby trying to perhaps get one rebuttal kill on the Puck, but now it's to turn around. And right now, Morphling, I mean, he only has an E-Blade and Linkens. He still can get a lot more powerful, and that's got to be very scary for FXOpen, as right now they are definitely far behind. Whew, 52 kills in 28 minutes. Talk about birthday cast. Storm Spirit was able to kill off the Rubik. I'm guessing he just balled, Orchided, got the kill. I don't think I'm going to rewind that kill, as I guess Storm Spirit spotted out Rubik out of position, was able to get that kill. But now Puck with the finished Scythe of Vice. Barretter, still the same items, probably going to work his way towards his own BKB. I mean, on Morphling, I don't know what he'll go for. Could potentially go for Butterfly, could go for Scotty, could go for Manta. Usually the stable build for Morphling is Linken's E-Blade into Manta for split push, but Lakel's is more of a teamfight oriented Morphling. He's not really a split push, so could perhaps go for some more teamfight oriented builds, as March just gonna get blasted into oblivion. Sagan gonna find himself gripped up, and Sagan definitely gonna die, as Barretter will pick up that last hit. And you can see these pickoffs just coming effortlessly for the likes of Mith-Trust in this game.
Over here now.
So Mith-Trust will be able to kill off the tier 2 without too much of a rebuttal. You can see the gold graph still not varying Mith-Trust too much. Weaver, that minus and Weaver continuing to farm has definitely helped to bridge the gap to a certain extent. But Mith-Trust, they're knocking on the front door of FXOpen. There's really nothing that FXOpen can do to kill the Morphling. Doctor will be picked off that Hex, just proving to be too powerful as Stormsphere forced to buyback. This should spark the immediate retreat, as a nice Orchid up on the Puck. Will Puck actually escape? He is still silenced. He will die towards the wall. TNK gonna find himself vacuum, fireflying overhead. Lakel's running out of mana. He might give up a huge streak. Is still trying to desperately morph his way to safety. Febby looking to pursue the issue. Morphling gonna apply one more waveform, but now is running out of mana. Has 7 more charges on Magic Wand. He's gonna die. He's gonna have such a huge streak. He's gonna pop the Magic Wand. Oh, he still dies nonetheless, and he gave it up to Febby. The worst possible hero that Morphling could have given up that bounty. And actually, Morphling gonna buy back, noticing that the top lane is pushing in, but he just lost a lot of gold in the process, and he just gave up a huge bounty to Febby, who already finished the Desolator, and now Weaver can start playing a bit more ambitious. Even if he can't kill off the Morphling because of the E-Blade, he can just kill off these supports effortlessly. And, I mean, there's really not too much that Mith-Trust can do if Barretter gets initiated on and he can't cast Last on the Weaver, or if Puck gets initiated on and can't cast the Hex on the Weaver. Mith-Trust still in a huge advantage, but FXOpen definitely do have the means to
Radiant's
come
bottom
back,
tower is
especially
under
since
attack.
Weaver did pick up that huge streak. Storm Spirit was forced to buybacks, so his BKB is going to be severely. So Storm Spirit still looking to farm up his BKB. It's going to be delayed, but again, Storm Spirit looking to really initiate on the barrier of the puck and eliminate one of those two crucial disables from the picture. Maybe initiate on the Visage, since Visage is pumping out a lot of damage and is just very annoying to deal with in extended teamfight engagements. And Visage actually making his way towards the Agonimps and will be able to secure it in about 1800 gold, which is really not that much considering the pace of the game, where he's able to just participate in so many kills. You know, Barrett actually picked up a Void Stone. Barrett are going to rush to the Hex. Very unorthodox Barrett build, but I guess Mith-Trust really prioritizing disables rather than just survivability. They really want to lock down the Storm Spirit, apparently, as well as the Weaver, since Weaver only has the Linked Sphere. And Barrett, he'll add the last, so Puck has a Hex, Puck has a Silence. So there are a lot of ways to lock down heroes like the Weaver or even the Darkseer. Meanwhile, Darkseer gonna go for his own Hex, so Hex seems to be the name of the game for every team. And FXOpen gonna play a bit cautiously for now. I think they really want to get this BKB online for the Storm Spirit. Meanwhile, Febby gonna have an item shipped towards him. Is that a finish? MKB He picked up the Demon Edge, and I guess it's just a TP, as the gem will be delivered for the side of FXOpen. You know, Lakel's, he did die, he did finish the Yasha, but he also bought back, so his Manta Rush is going to be severely delayed. Still, Lakel's farming tremendously well. You can see his net worth is really, really strong. I mean, 209 CS for a Morphling 32 minutes in is not really the best, but he's just participating in so many kills, and the shotgun just barely not enough, but March actually ran right back in. March will be the first one to die. Now Doctor going to be the next one to perish. Febby looking to apply as much damage as possible. March is going to buy back, trying to get the vacuum wall. Will be able to pop a successful vacuum wall, as R5 will be on their tree. He is going to tie to one more right click of the Desolator, and Lakel is actually being out DPS by Weaver once his E-Blade has expired. That Desolator Demon Edge Weaver just putting in work. And this is a very, very unfortunate time for Lakel's to die, since Roshan will be respawning relatively soon, and Lakel's does not have buyback. I'm not too sure why Mith-Trust were so aggressive in pushing the issue, but I guess engaging into a Darkseer with a dire advantage for the Radiant is still a bad situation, so Mith-Trust want to look for at least a pick off before they rotate into Rosh. But they definitely paid for it, and now FXOpen starting to look a bit more comfortable. This is such a weird, intense, crazy game, as Anarchy just gonna pop the freezing field, looking to pick up whatever farm possible. And Anarchy actually has a decent amount of gold. Not too sure what she'll go for, as Crystal Main does have that VIP booster. I can't imagine BKB will be too useful, but of course BKB Freezing Field, I mean the only thing that will break it is Lasso, and Freezing Field does do a lot of damage. I think Crystal Main should actually go for that BKB, but looks like Crystal Main gonna go for the Atos. You know, Barrett blinking into the Flame Break, but is gonna die for his troubles, as that Orchid Burst just a bit too much. So Mith-Trust is playing a little bit too loose, and they are paying the price. Storm Spirit now is enough for the finish BKB. Morphling is just gonna respawn, as Barrett are gonna buy back. They know Roshan's alive. They want to contest it. But FXOpen, they have the wall back online, and again, wall in the Roshan pit definitely is a huge, huge influence, especially, well, Febby actually finished the Daedalus rather than saving for buyback. Wow, really ambitious choice. Didn't go for the MKB, instead wanted to do the crits. He does have a lot of plus damage from the Desolator as well, so he could potentially deal out some sensational crits. But now Morphling might see this as an opening to get a butterfly once meta is finished. So we're gonna have to see what both teams decide to respond with. And this is what I noticed about Lakel. He doesn't really like to AFK farm. He likes to stay with his team and fight. But you can see his CS is taking a pounding. As a result, Weaver has now been able to surpass Morphling, and Weaver didn't even go Radiance. So Mith-Trust smoke will break, but here comes FXOpen. They're gonna zip in. They're gonna focus on Barret. BKB Storm Spirit going to work as Febby does pick off the Barret. Visage gonna be next one to perish. Mikkel's gonna wait for him in very aggressively, but now is in a lot of trouble, taking a lot of damage, trying to E-blade his way to safety as he is gonna pop the replicate. But you can see Febby pursuing the replicate, knows his teammates do have enough damage to kill off Mikkel's, and wow, FXOpen with a sensational comeback against a Morphling and a Batrider. They are gonna get this tier 2. They will probably be able to get the tier 3 as well. Lakel's, oh, he's gonna have buyback, so it will be forced at the very least for FXOpen, and they should be able to take Roshan without too much of a problem. The question is, will Lakel's actually buy back? Because no, he will. I guess Rubik and Visage gonna respond quick enough for Lakel's liking that he feels like this buyback is worth it. And FXOpen will be able to clean off the tier 3. Are they going to go for the Rax? The Desolated Weaver just pumping out the damage. And they will be able to kill out the barracks, but Puck going to orb himself in. Here comes the initiation. Febby will die, gave up a pretty big bounty, but only to a Visage. The Agnum Scepter going to be shortcoming as Weaver or Morphling actually killed off the Vengeful Spirit as a result. Now Crystal Main just trying to get away. The Atos is not going to help you now. It will only delay the inevitable. And Morphling still looking to pursue the issue. Febby has enough for buyback, but I don't imagine Febby will buy back. I think FXOpen need all of their team to take a successful team fight against Mith-Trust. So the question is, Mith-Trust, are they going to go for Roshan? The answer is yes indeed, as Weaver going to buy back. Vengeful Spirit going to buy back as well as Crystal Main. Everybody on the side of the Dire going to buy back. They don't want to give up the Aegis. They know Morphling, very difficult to kill, and they don't want to give him any more openings. So really crazy game by both teams thus far. You can see the goal advantage now heavily favoring the Dire, experience advantage also heavily favoring the Dire, but again, if Mith-Trust take the successful team fight, I feel like they still have a very strong shot at taking a set of barracks. And actually FXOpen going to be the first one going for Roshan. They have already used a couple buybacks, so if they die, they're going to be out of the picture for a long while. March going to be held in place for a long time. March going to die. He can't apply the wall, as Crystal Main going to be the next one to perish. Sagan finding himself hexed up. Stormstream picks off the Batrider, but Batrider already, well, he didn't actually use the lasso. Morphling looking to chase down Sagan as Weaver gonna die, and this is gonna be a huge disaster for FXOpen. Doctor will fall as well, just falling like dominoes, as this should be a Roshan. If the Creepy Golem was favoring Mith-Trust a bit more, this could have potentially been 2 sets of barracks. But this should be a Roshan, and that should be it. Stores here buying back. I really don't see any need to buy back in this situation. But you saw Darkseer being initiated upon. Darkseer is such a strong trade fight contributor that if you get rid of him, you lose the mech, you lose the vacuum, you lose the wall, and there goes a huge portion of your team fight potential. And Weaver, I mean,
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
is dead. I mean, this could swing both ways. I think with the Aegis, this does slightly favor Mith-Trust, especially since FXOpen spent so much of their gold on buybacks. I mean, Mith-Trust spent a lot of their gold as well, but I feel like, I mean, Puck is getting close to his own BKB, or it could be a Halberd. I'm not too sure what Puck will go for in this game. Halberd could be used to disable Lincolns, and I don't really see why Puck needs a BKB in this game. I guess he fears the Hex, and Darkseer getting close to his Hex. You know, Morphling finished the Manta, and it might be time for Morphling himself to consider getting a Hex, since the Hex has been finished on, or is going to be finished on the Darkseer very soon. Meanwhile, Batrider flying overhead. He has been forced to buy back a number of times, and you can see his item progression has slowed down to a crawl as a result. You know, Crystal Main picked up the Atos. Not too sure what the Atos is for. I guess to just slow down the Batrider, or perhaps the Rubik, or even the Morphling to break a Lincoln Sphere proc. Could be a good option. Well, Storm Spirit has secured the ultimate orb. Gonna go for his own sheep stick. Visage finished the Aghanim, so now has 3 familiars flying overhead. Those 3 stuns could definitely throw a thorn into the plans of FXOpen, as Mith-Trust looking to push out the bottom lane rather than the middle lane. You know, Lakel's just continue to farm up. And he is getting very close to where he chooses to go for. Well, not very close, but he's going to get there eventually. Goal graph, relatively even. Experience graph, relatively even. It's just whichever team makes the fewer mistakes, I feel like, because both teams definitely have made their fair share of mistakes. But we have seen a very, very exciting game as a result. Febby smartly going for his BKB. He knows Puck has the Hex. He knows Barrier building towards the Hex. He knows Visage has 3 familiars to chain stun. So BKB, I mean Weaver is already doing a lot of damage. So getting that extra bit of survivability to ensure he continues to do that damage is a smart option. But Mio and Lakel's going in on the barracks. And Darkseer has to stay as far back as possible. He's just been getting grabbed once too often in these engagements. Lincoln's here charge is going to be to sell. Puck will blink in. Will not be able to apply the Hex. Forced to pop the BKB. Did apply the coil as Visage will kill off the Weaver. Febby, it looks like he doesn't have buyback. Rubik gonna kill off the Venture Spirit, but here comes the wall. Can this teamfight be turned around by the Darkseer single-handedly? There isn't any backup DPS to back up this chaos as Doctor gonna be in launch mode. Does not run out of mana. Or Lakel's duking it out. Has not yet lost the Aegis. Storm Spirit very low in terms of HP as well as mana, and Storm Spirit will die. One more right click will seal his fate, and FXOpen just crumbling under the pressure. The Dream Call was such a strong initiation. You can see FXOpen, they have no initiators on their own side, and that has really been the story of the game for FXOpen. They've only been able to kill off Mith-Trust when they've been able to get the surprise advantage. And Mith-Trust, they have the more consistent initiation, and they have been able to recover as a result. March is going to find himself hexed up, could potentially die, and he will die as a result. Popping the mechanism will prolong his life for now, as Visage is going to throw a solo assumption. Lakel is going to pick up the last hit, and Lakel is actually killed off tier 3. Still has the Aegis, and this is the power of Morphling, able to survive when for other carries it would not be possible. So 2 sets of barracks being cleaned up at Mith-Trust, but all the while the tier 4s are being pressured because of mid lane creeps. As, ooh, they're gonna go back in, they're gonna kill off Anarchy. I guess Morphing just wants to use his Aegis Saga and try to do whatever he can. Lakel's just simply does not care. Visage, really, really sensational micro on the familiars, will allow the secure of the kill for Vengeful Spirit. Barrett flying overhead, looking to push out the top lane. Lakel still has the Aegis. He has 5k gold in the bank, and whatever item he decides to go for, it will be a good choice, whether it be Butterfly, whether it be Scotty. He is going to be very well on his way towards finishing that goal. You know, you can see the lack of buybacks really, really hurting FXOpen, but they've already spent so much of their gold on buyback. Vengeful Spirit's suffering, Storm Spirit's suffering. The item progression is just simply not there for FXOpen bar the Weaver. And Weaver, I mean, he's doing very well, but he's just getting picked off a little bit too often. Really needs that BKB, but it is going to be delayed at this rate as FXOpen now giving up a huge advantage as a result. Kill death score, wow. I mean, this has been... how many kills is this? 92 kills in 44 minutes. Definitely what you'd qualify as a bloodbath. March now does have the Hex, so there's another disable for the side of FXOpen. And Morphling, he is going to lose the Aegis relatively soon, and it will time out in the next 5 seconds. So FXOpen still have a couple of opportunities. If they can kill the Morphling and burn his buyback and then kill him again with their multiple hexes, they could have a way to get themselves back in the game. And when I say multiple hexes, I mean just the one on March, as Star Spirit very far away from finishing his own hex. Meanwhile, Barrett, working his way towards his hex, is still around 2k gold away from finishing that purchase. Visage has the Ghost Scepter as well as the gem, and you can see Visage, his endurance in these teamfights just makes him so powerful as a support. He scales so remarkably well because he's tanky, he has familiars to do damage, he has Soul Assumption which can be cast with such a short cooldown. It's absolutely ridiculous how powerful it is. Lakel's just going in, they're gonna snag Febby. The swap immediately breaking last. So here comes a vacuum wall, very nicely placed. Lakel's actually taking a lot of damage. Lakel's looking to escape on out of there. Lakel's is hexed up. Barretter will kill off the Vengeful Spirit as Replicate will be used to save Lakel's for the moment. Will he boots a child to get himself back in the fight as now his allies are in full retreat. Visage might end up falling. He's gonna resummon the familiars. before he could potentially die so they can still live on after he dies. Febby's still looking to pursue the issue. Lakel's only by Blitz's child to teleport himself back into the thick of things. Looks like he does not feel the need to. They've only lost Rubik thus far. SD likely going to fall soon after. Pops the Ghost Step to preserve his life. And here comes Lakel. He's teleporting in with the Blitz Travel. He's going to get the Lincoln Spirit immediately procced. Seems like Febby was able to kill off the Visage, but did pay for it with his life. He does have buyback. He is going to be forced to buyback as a result. Visage enough to kill the Crystal Main with just the raw power of the Familiars. Visage actually going to buy back. Febby will be forced to buy back, but Darkseer doesn't have the wall. It's just looking like a very difficult defense for FXOpen as we were buying back. Keep in mind, Morphling did not have to buy back 23 and 22. So even if Lakel's were to fall, he could just buy back and Boots travel himself back into the fight as Doctor just getting hexed up. Will pop the Ghost after popping the BKB, trying to get on out of there. Febby taking all damage, but they're gonna have enough damage to kill off the Batrider, as now Batrider gonna buy back himself.
Tower is under attack.
Will Mith-Trust look to continue the assault? Looks like Lakel has other plans. He's gonna go for the Scotty build. And he actually will have it in about 200 gold. The question is, does he want to spend buyback? And I've got to imagine the answer is no. The Radiant gonna smoke themselves up. No end progression. They really just need to make sure when they drop the wall, Weaver just does simply not die. But it's difficult without a BKB, especially against a numerous number of disables. This Lincoln's here simply not enough, especially since Visage is so damn survivable. And I don't know, where's the gem? Looks like Puck secured the gem after Visage did end up dying before he bought back. You can see Febby's so scared to farm up that BKB. He knows one mistake could cost him his life and could cost his team this game. And Lakel is still saving up that gold. Could potentially buy Scott if you want to, but is wisely saving up for buyback, because if he were to die, FXOpen could potentially march down the middle lane and just clean up the throne. Roshan gonna be respawning relatively soon. I've got to imagine Mith-Trust have their eyes on that Aegis, and once they have the Aegis, Morphling will feel free to finish up that Scotty. And you can see Mith-Trust just firmly parking their heroes in front of the base of the Dire, and the Dire just so scared to farm up. They're just getting a lot less value for the creeps. They're only farming these very, very low worth creeps. They're not even able to farm this top lane, which has more creeps for the taking. They're not able to farm the jungle. You know, Mith-Trust just getting a lot more farm and just stalling out the way for this Roshan. Lakel is actually going to look to siege down the tower by himself. Got it down to a very, very low amount, single-handedly. Febby already has buyback. I guess he's looking to save the buyback, but they're going to initiate on the Batrider. They're going to snag the Batrider. Batrider might end up dying as Storm Spirit will kill off the Batrider with the Orchid Burst. R5 will be the next one to fall. Storm Spirit just enough seemingly to help his team back into the game. And now Mith-Trust have to retreat. Batrider did buy back previously, and Lakel's just took way too much damage. And this will allow Febby to finish his BKB. Now Mith-Trust, I mean, they are still in a huge advantage, but they've got to be feeling a little bit more uncomfortable. Because critically, the item or the members on the side of FXOpen starting to get a bit of item progression. This is still vastly in Mith-Trust's favor. But Storm Spirit could potentially pick up the Hex, and the Desolator could potentially kill off the Roshan relatively easy, but Abba is invisible. Will look to initiate, doesn't have any creeps or Morphling to boots travel in, and this Desolator killing down the Roshan very quickly. Abba doesn't have any inventory room. Lakel's approaching the Roshan pit very, very, very quickly as the Dire will pick it up. Aegis is going to be snatched by the Puck. Where is the cheese? The cheese Oh my god, is the Aegis steal gonna be the end of FXOpen? Febby taking way too much damage, gonna time-lapse his way to safety, trying to get on out of there, but Puck with the gem gonna reveal Febby's location. Here comes Puck, Bob with a play, and he will help to, I think, seal the game for FXOpen. Where did the cheese go? I think Rubik picked it up. No, Storm picked it up. But that Aegis was really something that FXOpen desperately needed. Weaver does not have buyback. He's already used it. And he will have it relatively soon. Morphing does not have the Aegis. He will die. He is not... No, he is going to buy back. He doesn't have the Boots Travel back on, so he can't rejoin the fight just yet. Doctor still putting in the work. This is such a crazy game. Man, Doctor will actually fall off. And I think this is going to be the end of FXOpen in this game. They have all the heroes dead. Darkseid the only one to buy back. Storm Spirit already uses cheese, and this will be a mega creep soon. Weaver is still 50 seconds before his respawn time. So Puck just gonna sacrifice his Aegis to the gods. And we'll be able to blink to safety? No, looks like he's just gonna forfeit his life.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
But this will be mega creeps. Puck gonna actually buy back, and I don't know if FXOpen have what it takes to defend against megas. They're gonna have to try. The glyph will be used. They're gonna try to slow down Morphling. Morphling did die, and he did buy back. If they kill him off, this could potentially spark the comeback. But no, just not enough damage without the Weaver being in the picture. And FXOpen will fall one by one. GG, well played. And wow, 102 kills. No, 112 kills in 52 minutes. What a game. As definitely both teams made a lot of mistakes, but it was a really, really exciting game to cast. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And happy birthday, everybody. Please leave me feedback on what you want to see in the channel in the future. And if you have some very ambitious ideas, I could use a lot of help, so let me know. And email me. But thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.